Okay, so I purchased this skirt at the thrift store some time ago, and I intended to use it as lining for bags because I loved how the satin would feel on my hands. Plus, I really love that bold print inside of my bag. But after having it for a couple days and I washed it, I realized there may be some value to it. So I decided I might transform it into a dress. I knew I did not want it to be worn as a skirt. So, in order for it to be a dress, I had to make the waist a lot smaller because this skirt is a 3X and I am a size 2, maybe a size 4 on a good day. So, first thing I did was to remove the waistband. I got my trusty seam ripper, which I never use. I actually always use a giant needle. And so I just picked at the thread, find an opening, and then I ripped it. Now, I had to be very careful not to rip the fabric because it's satin and it could come apart very easily on the selvage grain. So I ripped very cautiously. I also did not want to upset the center kiss pleats, but I eventually did because they're a little big and they're a little droopy in the front. But I kept the band attached in that section for a while. And of course, my mama didn't raise no fool, so I did not touch the zipper area. I removed the two sides and left the center front and the center back intact. The zipper is in the center back. And so after I did that, I just uh, made new pleats to cinch the waist in. The front had a kiss pleat in the center, and I decided to make another kiss pleat beside it. Um, I didn't like the way it looked, and so eventually I went with knife pleats going towards the side. And then I did remove the center front pleat to make more space or more fabric for the pleats that would be going towards the side. So once I was done pinning my pleats in place and achieving my desired, well, not my waist because it's an ampere waist, so it's going to be above my bust. So under that armpit area across the bust, I pinned my waistband back in place and I cut off some of the excess waistband. I didn't cut it all because it's better to cut off the excess later on than it is to add back if you cut too much. So I pretty much just did that. I marked where my stitching line would be and I pinned that in place. Once I was done, I just pretty much continued adjusting the waistband. First I pleated and then I measured. It was a little too small, so I had to loosen the pleats up a little bit, and so I repinned it. That fuzzy fabric there, of course, is the interfacing, which is fine. Interfacing tends to come a little fuzzy, a little loose after a while, but when we're wearing our clothes, we don't even notice. So then I took it to the sewing machine to attach the waistband, and that's pretty much that part of it. So the next few seconds will be just me reattaching the waistband. My idea for this was to try two ways. I wanted to try it with a triangular top as a dress, and I also want to try it with the straps on the ampere waist dress. I actually prefer the ampere waist because I think it looks more chic. The triangle top dress is kind of expected. It's kind of a regular summer dress, but the ampere waist gives me kind of a Blair Adibe kind of look. I actually like that. I like when I can wear an outfit and not have to worry about if my stomach is showing after I eat. So eventually my waistband was done. As you can see, it is a lot smaller than it used to be. And then I proceeded to attach the straps over the shoulder. Now this one I expected to be a little easier. I've been sewing for a long time, but I completely forgot that the strap had to be slanted just a little bit because our bodies are not straight. We're not sticks. And we're not one dimensional. So I had to slant the straps just a little bit for it to sit nice and flat. So I had to actually try it on and pin the straps on myself. Then I marked where I want the strap to be and I measured the same amount on the other side and I marked that one as well. And then I pretty much just stitched the straps in place. That was the easiest part, stitching the straps on. Once I stitched the straps on, though, I got a little ambitious. I was like, shouldn't this have pockets? Pockets. And so I decided to cut pockets out of a different satin fabric. This is satin lining. I did not want that heavy fabric that I used for the straps because the fabric I used for the straps was a really heavy satin that I bought for a skirt. So I just used a lighter lining satin. I cut my regular pockets. That's just how I cut pockets, with that shape. And of course, you cut the pockets in 4 pieces and you attach one piece to each side of the skirt. I had to try the dress on again just to see where I'd like the pockets to fall. And I attach each piece, one to the left side of the opening where I'm going to put the pocket and one to the right of the opening. I pinned it in place. This is my first like really long tutorial, so it would take a little more for me to explain how to put the pockets in if that is needed. But I pinned my pockets in, I stitched them in place. I did the same for the other side. Pockets are not hard to put in and they give you so much bang for your buck, but I hate multi-step stuff. It's just too many steps. But I got the pockets in. I stitched the 2 pieces together just to close the pocket. You don't want your money falling out. And then I serged it. I did that off camera. And then I had to reclose the side seam. So I had to make sure that my pockets were nicely aligned because when I reclosed my side seam, I need my seams to line up nicely. I do not want my pocket to gape, so I had to feel as I was sewing to ensure that the underside of the seam was lining up with the top piece. I couldn't see it, but I felt that they were exactly in place. That's what my fingers are doing right there when I am feeling it. And so I closed the seam. I stitched down about 1.5 inches from where the pocket was initially attached. And then I just jumped over the opening for where my hand would fit. And then I just closed the lower part of it. So this is not a pocket tutorial. That is something I can do another time, but this is just a quick explanation of how I put the pockets in. I'm really happy I did it. I thought it was tedious, but I did. So now I had suggested that I would use a triangular top. This is what I mean. So I just got a nice piece of triangular fabric. I put a dart in the center of it leading up to the highest point of my chest, and then I did another dart across the side. If I said seam, I meant dart, and another one across the side. And then pretty much I just ironed my finished dress. smooth out those new seams and also smooth the skirt out because I washed it and it had a little bit of wrinkle. Of course, this is a satin fabric, so you have to be very careful about the temperature of the iron. I tested it on the underside of the fabric first, and I turned the iron down really low and then I gradually increased it. Do not turn the iron. And after ironing, my dress was ready. So I decided to pair it with these thrifted Christian Siriana shoes, which is almost exactly the same print. I love doing that. I like mixing print. I like monotones and I like mixing print. And of course, I thought it would go quite well also with my lovely knot bag that I made on Sunday, and it did. I think the style of the dress is chic and the bag is chic, and so it's just like a simple look, but it gives so much bang for your bucks. And so that is the finished look. Check out the video on Instagram and thank you for watching.